All right, welcome back. I'm glad you're still with us here on Morning at NTV. If you're just joining us, welcome on board. We are taking note of the conservation life in the wild amid increasing traffic challenges. Of course, this comes on the backdrop of developments on the iconic Karuma Bridge. The latest development is that public transport operators will now spend more on fuel to navigate through the diverted routes. Movement on the Kampala-Gulu Highway was yesterday paralyzed following the total closure of the bridge that links Northern Uganda, South Sudan and the DRC to the rest of the country. The closure is because of a defect in the 61-year-old bridge, and of course the works are going to ensure a reconstruction, but there are questions that are being raised, especially on the guidelines that were issued by the Uganda Wildlife Authority for motorists who are transiting through the alternative route, which is Murchison Falls National Park. And this is all down to the fact that safety must be ensured, a protection of wildlife, as well as preservation of the park's natural environment. On set this morning, I'm joined by Bashir Hangi, the spokesperson of the Uganda Wildlife Authority, to bring us up to speed with these developments and how exactly these guidelines are supposed to be met, but also how the authority, working alongside other agencies, are ensuring that order is maintained. Many thanks for joining us, Mr. Hangi.
Thank you very much. Good morning, and good morning, viewers.
Great. Take us through a bird's eye view of what's happening in line with the diversions that have been occasioned by the construction works that are ongoing on the Karuma Bridge.
Thank you very much. Actually, what you call a diversion is we're not diverting people. We are only guiding them, giving them alternative routes.
Alternative routes, yeah.
People who are transiting through Murchison Falls National Park, whether they are coming through Masindi, Kichumba Nyobo Gate, exiting through Tangi, or they want to come through Tangi, exiting through Kichumba Nyobo Gate, we've given them an alternative. And the alternative we've given them is that now they'll have to use Bugungu Gate, which is in Bulisa, and exit from Tangi, or Tangi, Bugungu. Why are we doing this? Kichumba Nyobo Gate is a very busy gate. Currently, on a weekly basis, we clear around 4,000 vehicles on a weekly basis through that gate. 4,000 vehicles on a weekly basis. And these are, and we are talking about a gate that has a lot of tourism activity happening. Many tourists use Kichumba Nyobo Gate. So we said, wait, we need to balance the interests. We have fellow citizens, or other persons for that matter, who are transiting. And I mean, with the closure of Karuma, you cannot deny people an access route. Yeah. So we said, let's balance the interests. We want to make sure that we would not disrupt tourism activities, but also we do not want people to not have where to pass. So we said, let's give them an alternative route so that they go through Tangi and exit through Bugungu Gate. And also, this is a shorter route in terms of going through the park. So in so doing, you are minimizing on the footprint of the heavy traffic inside the park. For the Kichumba Nyobo Gate that you're talking about, I know most people would love to use this because, I mean, because the other side, of course, they have to go through Bulisa, which is a longer route. Yeah. But also we've experienced a number of road queues, okay, through Kichumba Nyobo Gate, in addition to this heavy traffic that I'm talking about. So we said, let's balance the interests. And people are supposed to make sure that they observe the times when our gates open and when they close. Our gates open at 7 a.m. and they close at 7 a.m. So people are supposed to plan their journeys way ahead of time so that by 6 p.m. you're already in the park, ready to exit. Because we don't expect you to be in the park after 7. You get me? So it takes people having to plan their journeys accordingly. That's one. Two, Kichumba Nyobo Gate is not completely closed to traffic. If you want to use that gate, which we have now designated for tourists, you pay the entrance fees that tourists pay. Okay? Yep. So that you use it. So it's not completely out, but we are saying pay if you want to use this gate. So that if there are any disruptions, we also get compensated through the money that you pay. But we want to encourage people to use the alternative route that we've given them. There are other routes, of course, they can use the ferry, you know, so they can as well use that. So this is not a diversion, but rather providing an access road to our people who want to move so they don't get stuck along the way.
Okay. Maybe some assurances on the alternative of the ferry. How big is the available vessel that you are suggesting?
I'm not better placed to tell about that because surely maybe my colleagues from UNORA are better placed. I can only talk about what is happening inside the park and the guidelines that we've put in place.
All right.
And yeah, that's what I can talk about for now.
Okay, let's stick to matters inside the park. This state of affairs or development is a great disruption to the environment and the workings of the wildlife. I do not know on the part of the animals what has been done to make them, I don't know how to even say it, but are they ready for this kind of disruption? The amount of vehicles in the park and the human interaction that maybe has not been the case over the last few years.
My brother, what is happening right now is a necessary inconvenience.
It's a necessary inconvenience.
Yeah, it is a necessary, because you can't avoid it for now. We cannot say that we will completely close the park and people have nowhere to pass. So we have, that's why I talked about balancing the interests. Because we have the wildlife. Certainly, this huge traffic causes stress to the animals. And you know, these are wild animals. The more they get stressed, the wilder they become.
Yeah, more aggressive.
And they become more aggressive to ourselves and even to our visitors. But there's nothing we can do for now. That's why we are trying to say, so that you cover a short distance inside the park, minimizing the impact on the wildlife in terms of the stress caused. Of course, this stress is not short-term. It's a long-term thing. Yeah. But of course, also the fumes, you know, these vehicles we're talking about, the noise, the sound, you know, all this disrupt the peace of the animals. Remember, we are talking about animals that are in their home. Yeah, that's their natural habitat. In their habitat.
Yeah, we are disturbing them.
We are disturbing them. And that's why we are saying it is a necessary disturbance for now. Luckily, our colleagues in UNRWA say this is going to happen for like 3 months, and after 3 months, the situation will return to normal. So we look forward to a time, maybe around December there, when we will not have all this traffic. But for now, we don't have a choice. Okay. Definitely, it is impacting on wildlife. It is impacting on the environment in the park. By the way, when you go to a national park, it's where you feel nature at its best. Because you don't have all these vehicles moving around making a noise, the fumes are not there, so the air you breathe is fresh, you know. So refined, all this is being affected. That's but right. For now, we do not have a way out.
Let's talk about the dividends and not dwell much on what has gone wrong. For domestic tourism, this is an opportunity to begin to map out ways on how best to ensure that the average Ugandan gets interested in matters tourism, because by traveling through the park, they get an opportunity to tour on a bargain, so to speak. Have you devised a strategy to ensure that this particular positive is maintained and lure in more Ugandans to begin to tour the parks after the 3 months have elapsed?
Yeah, look what is happening right now. When people are transiting through the park, whether you're in a bus or what, somehow they get to see what is happening.
Sure.
And this is attractive already, okay? And because we have limited, for example, we do not allow diversions. Any form of diversion, of course, attracts a penalty. We do not allow unnecessary stoppages, save for emergencies. So all this makes people think, I need to come back. These people are not allowing me, but I need to come back, pay, enter the park, and do my activities. So people are already interested. And we've seen some people actually who are like, I was passing through the park. I said, I need to go back and come back with family. Okay. And they've come. Yeah. So, but also we have our staff at the gates. Normally we give these briefs. When vehicles are entering the gate, we brief them. And also, among others, we tell them about the attractions that are in the park. So while you are transiting, next time you come for leisure, you know, let's tour the country, let's tour these parks. This is not a reserve for people from outside Uganda, but for all of us, you know. So it is an opportunity, yes, and we are using it to sell as a selling point. And we've seen some people who have come back to visit the park after realizing that they went through, but they thought they missed a lot.
Okay.
And you can imagine if we left it open and we are like, okay, now you can enter, you move around, and then you divert as you wish. They wouldn't come back to bring those monies there that we badly need to do conservation work.
Now, of course, there must be stresses on existing tourists who have either planned, but all of a sudden they have other people within the park to deal with, other inconveniences that might come forth. I do not know whether there is a separate strategy to ensure that those ones also stay comfortable. Is it something that maybe I'm looking into too much?
No. Actually, that's one of the reasons why we have said leave Kichumba Nyobo Gate. Initially, we've been having a problem, by the way, ever since they stopped heavy trucks from using Karuma Bridge. We've been all congesting at Kichumba Nyobo, and you'll find them packed in the evening, waiting for the morning to cross.
That's right.
That was a big issue. Actually, there are tourists who would tell us, you know what, you have killed this park. And you know, it is our role as citizens of this country to explain to them that, look, we have a situation that we are managing. This is not what we've been doing. This is not who we are. But we are also good at managing emergencies. We are good at handling situations. That's and we've been telling them this is temporary. Now that we have reserved this particular one gate for tourism activities, the disturbance on the tourists is going to be minimized. Of course, as tourists move down towards the Bugungu, they will encounter this heavy traffic. But we also realize that, I mean, you cannot avoid it, but at least a bigger part of the park will be left out for tourism activities. Yeah. Maybe, and this is what we did when we were managing oil and gas activities. To ensure that they do not cause a lot of disruptions to tourism as a business. We gave them alternative routes. You rarely see their vehicles on that tarmac road, but we give them routes where they pass. One, actually some of the tourists, you don't get to see these guys because we've given them routes which are not visible. You don't see them when you're on the main road, and they're not disrupting our activities.
Okay. Oh, that's a great one. All right. As we enter the final bend of this particular discussion, I would like to find out whether there has been any new additions to the facilities, especially regarding convenience and sanitation. Are they temporary? Are they going to be permanent? Because at the end of it all, there are people who will encounter, you know, health problems within the park, and the strain on existing infrastructure might be something that the authority cannot bear. What has been put in place? We have facilities at our entry gates, and these facilities are open. The public uses these facilities. Certainly there's stress now caused on our staff. Yeah. We've had actually to bring in more staff. People would be doing research and monitoring, people would be doing law enforcement, people would be doing guiding. Some of these people are being called to come and support at the gates. So these facilities are there, but they are in between. Certainly there are no facilities. And look, we do not expect these vehicles to make these stopovers. Okay. So when you know you are going to go through a park, prepare yourself so well, adequately. You know we are going through a park, and certainly there are no toilets along the way. Avoid certain meals.
Sorry? People have to plan themselves accordingly and see how, because you see, this is not a normal situation. Yeah, it is a situation that is not normal, and as such, we've got to behave in such a way. Okay. There are certain things we are going to do in an abnormal way because we are operating in an abnormal situation. This is not something we anticipated, remember? So we couldn't put in place facilities because we expect an influx of people going through the park. That was not possible now. Okay. In any case, it takes resources.
Takes resources.
Yeah, and these are resources that we had not set aside, you know. Yeah.
All right. Your last word on this?
I want to ask people who are transiting through Murchison Falls National Park, this is our park. Let's join hands together. Let's protect this park. Drive carefully. Observe speed limits. please do not drive beyond 40 kilometers per hour, because our people are there, they have speed monitors, we have speed cameras in the park. Once we get you exceeding the speed limits, you know you'll be having to pay a penalty, which is not good. Respect animals when they are crossing. It's for your own safety, but also the safety of the animals. Please, 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 please avoid the stoppages and observe the times when we open and when we close the gates.
All right, thank you very much. Bashir Hangi, spokesperson of the Uganda Wildlife Authority. You're looking good in that uniform. We must pay special commendation to the team at UA for ensuring that that is, of course, looking the way you guys do. That will do it for our Take Note discussion. Please stay with us. Our Kickstarter